Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Tyrone back with Tech Life. And in this video, I wanted to show you guys how good T-Mobile can still perform in 2024 on just 80 megahertz of N41. And it's not aggregated. I mean, not contiguous 80. It's aggregated with 240 megahertz channels. So I wanted to just show you guys that before we go to 180, 190, whatever they set it at contiguous, I just wanted to show you how the 80 megahertz can still perform 4 years in on the merger. So I can still pull over 500. And I think on the uplink, I know with the iPhone, it's a lot harder to see in the service mode, but I think I have some 2 carrier aggregation going on with uplink. I've seen it go as high as like 70. And this is a continuous performance. It's solid, it's stable. It doesn't really fluctuate in this area. So I can still pull that, and this is also a market where T-Mobile has high share. This is a mid-sized market where T-Mobile has a dominant share of close to like 35, 36%. And as you can see, it just shot up to close to 70. So there is some aggregation going on there on uplink with that speed. And the 5G for T-Mobile is going to further improve. So far, the N25 is split between LTE and 5G. So 5G has 10 by 10 and LTE has 10 by 10. Once they're able to move all of the PCS to 5G, then it'll be a 20 by 20 slice. So that's going to improve uplink severely. So T-Mobile still has some headroom, not only for the simple fact that they are trying to get the sonic wave spectrum and they're trying to make it contiguous, but they have other assets that they can still move to have more headroom on capacity, speed, uplink, whatever the case may be. So I just wanted to showcase that in today's video to see in the future how big of an improvement it will be once they go to 180, 190, 140, whatever they go to. So let's go ahead and do a NPerf. Yeah, let's do an NPerf test here. See what that performance is like for the loading and then the video quality. So pulling about 76 on the uplink. Latency looks good. So this test is showing NSA. I've seen that quite a few times on the iPhone for whatever reason. It seems like Android, the Galaxy, seems to prefer more of the SA side. And then for whatever reason, even though it's all turned on, the SA on the iPhone still chooses NSA for whatever reason. So as you can see, good performance on loading the websites, web pages. Now we're going to the video playback. And to me, that's fine. 92, even like 87, 88 is still good. Like 86 is good. It still loads. It's not like you're going to have buffering. Now, if I had another carrier and I did a comparison, then, we could make the argument like, hey, this other connection is that much better. But in a real world scenario, I mean, you're not going to notice much of a difference. So now moving forward, it's going to be about price. I really think that's where we're heading. As you guys see this performance on screen, as we move to 180, 190, perhaps whatever they decide to give us on bandwidth, at least in the top 100 PEAs, I foresee it being about price and competitiveness in the promotions, the device deals, and just pricing period. I really think that's what it's going to come down to. The networks are becoming closer and closer in performance. Whether you want to realize it or not, even even as you're traveling in rural environments outside of your city limits, if you're going camping, vacationing, whatever, the networks are becoming closer and closer in performance. Even if T-Mobile still lacks somewhat of scale, they're closing that gap in the next 12 to 18 months. They have satellite now if you're in the middle of a national park to have some type of connection. Even in areas where they don't natively have coverage, they got some type of roaming agreement where you have some sort of coverage. So that's where it's heading to. It's heading to pricing competition, being competitive, and the carrier, oh, we almost got 700 there, 656. The carrier that catches on the fastest with that is going to win. I feel like win the lion's share of the net ads on a quarterly basis. And I feel right now T-Mobile has the best strategy and is best position for that. And the fact that the the performance is getting closer and closer to the competition, I mean, it just helps T-Mobile with its perception. Now, the price increase, I know that stings a bit, but I think eventually that will just settle in, and then we move on from that. Then T-Mobile starts making more moves. Like in this quarter, they decided to go more in the pricing direction. So we are still seeing them for 3 lines being about 29 to 30% cheaper than AT&T and Verizon. So they're still leading with price and value while having a much better network than they did just 4 years ago. So they are still scaling the mid-band, but it's on most sites now. It's like 90, 89, 90% last I checked of sites now have mid-band. And and now it's just about really putting up new cell sites. That's what it's going to come down to for T-Mobile. Co-locations, new cell sites where they feel necessary natively. And then the rest, like the off-grid, the national parks, the mountain terrain, they're just going to cover that with satellite. Just being honest, they're going to cover that with satellite. It might be a much better connection at the time that goes live sometime later this year with Starlink and SpaceX. So the native performance is going to get better on T-Mobile as time goes on. They're going to get more 10 gig circuits out there. I'm unclear as to how much they're currently provisioning that 10 gig circuit. No carrier today is running actual 10 gig provisioning on the 10 gig circuits, I'm told. On average, the last time I got a report, T-Mobile is running about 2.5 gigs provisioning across the nation. That's the average. So they're running some high throughput through those circuits. But I think multi-gig should be a standard on all sites where they can get it. And then eventually they probably will go to 5 gig provisioning, especially as they move all of the LTE spectrum slice over to 5G. Today they announced recently 75% of devices support 5G. That's going to go to 80%, 85%. I don't know the exact number when they feel comfortable moving that spectrum off of LTE and then just really having, I think the last I was told, it's going to be similar as what we saw with HSPA. They're going to eventually just move down to 1 band with 5 megahertz. That's what they will leave on LTE as a fallback. And then everything will be refarmed and moved to 5G. I don't know when they will feel comfortable doing that, but I think it's going to happen next year, especially as they can comfortably, right? Because there's still going to be some, like right now they have 91% coverage on 5G. That's mid-band or low-band, but that's still roughly about 8 to 9% of LTE only coverage out there. So once they probably get closer to like 97, 98% of 5G coverage, that's when they will probably move everyone, not everyone, but move most of the spectrum off of LTE. And that's when we will likely be in the 80 to 85% range of people that have 5G capable devices. And with that being said, I also highly recommend you guys to start upgrading to newer devices to get better performance. T-Mobile's moving into 5G advanced. They're moving towards 5 carrier aggregation. It's just going to be a much better performing network if you do upgrade to a newer device. Just a recommendation, suggestion. You don't have to go out and do that if you don't feel like it. But yes, that's where T-Mobile is heading. The price increase will help accelerate where they see fit. So now we could start seeing the quarterly increases like we did last year. If you guys remember that, T-Mobile increased capex like 200 million in Q2, 300 million in Q4. We could start seeing that again, especially with them taking fiber a bit more serious now, and us getting a guidance of where they want to be with fiber in the next 5 years in early fall. That's going to help us understand where they're heading with the capex. So let me know your thoughts in the comments. Just wanted to cover that with you guys, show you guys the performance before we go to 180, 190. So let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like, share, subscribe if you are new. Follow my social media outlets. This is Tyrone with Tech Life. See y'all in the next one. Peace.